on that. Yes. So we just discussed about the SWOT analysis technique, like what is the purpose of using the SWOT analysis technique, and we have just discussed an example of it by taking the insurance companies. So what are their uh, the strengths of the particular insurance company, and at the same time what will be their weaknesses, and in order to overcome that weaknesses, what are the different uh, features, or what are the different plans that they are going to introduce. And when they are going to introduce those new plans, so whether they will be having any you can say like whether it may affect to the existing policies, or it may affect to the existing customers. So that is nothing but we cannot say it like the attribute of one of the attribute in the SWOT is called as a threats. So threats is nothing but identifying if we are going to implement this particular solution in order to achieve the client business goal, then what will be the impacted areas, like do we have any negative impacts like decreasing the sales, and then decreasing the customers, and then decreasing the usage of the product. So those are nothing but here we can call it as a threats. And we have cat 5, we can see this. And yeah. So if you see the five whys, so this is, I think in order to implement this five whys technique, we should have a complete, a good understanding of the subject that what you are talking about, and the place that where you are going to implement this particular technique. Why? Because here, when you are going to implement this technique, we will be having the five whys. Five whys is nothing but for every question, or for every requirement, or for every statement that you have mentioned. So they will be asking the question in the form of five times here. So there will be a five whys put before you, saying like why. I mean, if you say like let's give a small example, like if I want to develop an intranet application to my company. So the first question is why you need a intranet portal. And you will say like, okay, I need this intranet portal for my employees to communicate their uh, information, or to see their pay structure and the leave policies. Okay, so again, they will be asking the question, why you want to see the companies, I mean the employees pay slips, or the leave, their leave policies. So for the again the second why you will be providing, yeah. So in order to know to the about the company's policies, like how to apply the leaves, and then where what type of deductions that the company is having in the while generating the payroll. So now you have answered the question for the second why, and now again you will be getting another question related to the, so why you want to display the leave policies to your employees in the intranet portal, or why you want to display the, or why you want to give the information about the deductions or that you're going to have in the payroll to your employees. So again, my answer will be, I'm saying like, okay, for this, why I am giving, why I want to display the deductions here, because uh, my the employees should be aware of like what is the percentage of amount that is deducting, that will be acting as a deduction component in your payslip, and what exactly that component is going to have, like what percentage of amount that is going to deduct. And also, you will be understanding why this component has been deducted, like whether it is a standard policy as per the defined by the government, or like that. So, for example, we have PT provisional tax, which will be uh, like as we it need to be deducted as per the government structure per the different slabs that we will be having. So now I have answered four whys. So now I have, so my answer for the fourth why is okay. So I want to give the information about the deductions that I am going to have in my, in the company's payroll. And I want to give, to understand my company's leave policies, so that the people or the employees will plan like what type of leaves that they are going to take or they are going to apply when they have a requirement to take the leaves. So this is how we need to categorize the requirements based on the I mean, we can say it as the problem is nothing but here the scope of the project. So for every question, we are providing the answer here. So how many times you can say like so at how many times we need to raise the question. So for every requirement or for any statement that if the particular person is mentioning or talking about that one, there should be a minimum or maximum of only five whys. So beyond that five whys, we don't have. I mean, nobody or for anything or for any statement. So they don't have answer apart from these five whys. So that is the reason they have mentioned like this is as a five whys technique where when you have a particular requirement, you need to analyze yourself saying like you say for example, as we discussed right just now in our example for the internet application. So you need to ask the client, okay, so for the first why you need to have an intranet application. So that is the first why you have raised it to the client. So the client will be providing his answer or his why he wants to have this intranet portal. And for the second why that you need to come from your end is like, so why you, so what are the different features that you are going to have in the internet portal? And again, you will get this required information from the client on the second why. Say for example, on the third why, you will be asking again like what are the different you can say as we discussed like why we need to implement why we want to show the deductions of the payroll that has been from the company, and then why you want to display the leave policies of the of your company. So that is how we need to ask the client or put the question of why before the client in order to get the detailed information of what exactly that particular requirement is talking about. So that's why I have mentioned like in order to perform this five whys technique, the person who is going to ask these five whys, so who is going to ask these five whys is the person who is going to take the requirements. So who is the person going to take the requirements is he's nothing but the business analyst. So the business analyst should be having a good knowledge of what are the questions. I mean, you can say it like asking the questions is say if you can ask a question which is not relevant to the client business, so he might be getting irritated like why he has been asking these irrelevant questions. So that's the reason whoever the BA who's going to use this technique, he should be more aware of the client business, and then he should also do some groundwork or he should prepare himself like is so what will be the possible scenarios where we can implement or where we can develop this requirement. And then we have the third analysis technique, which is the Moscow. I think it is a fourth, right? So we discussed about most, SWOT, and the five whys, and then Moscow. So Moscow technique is nothing but the attributes of the Moscow technique is what are the requirements or the features that must have, should have, and could have, and then would like to have in the future. Say, for example, if I want to develop a certain product, like I'm having a requirement yeah, in our initial example for the business analysis, let's take the MRF organization. So here, when you are going to take the requirements from the MRF organization about their project scope is to increase the sales turnover. So in order to, when you are discussing about this particular requirement, you need to see like what are the features that must have in order to develop this requirement. And it is nothing but should have, or we can say it like as a must have means those are the functionality that is the minimum functionality that should have in your product. where if you don't have that functionality, which means like that is nowhere meaningful for the client to deliver that product. So that's why we are calling it as a must have requirements. And then should have requirements is nothing but we can say like, okay, these are the requirements that should have to the client in order to get the whatever the must have requirements that we are developing. So it will get some meaningful information like these are the requirements that should have in order to achieve this functionality. So in our example, so the client business scope is like in the MRF example. So they want to increase the sales turnover. So in order to increase the sales turnover, what are the should have requirements here is in the should have, we need to get the new equipments or new machinery, and then you are going to implement or you're going to manufacture the new variants. So these are the in order to develop the new variants, what are the should have requirements here is having the new machinery. And then what is the could have requirements here in the same example? So could have requirements here comes into like the space or the storage location or the warehouse location. So where this the new equipment is going to fit, or you can also say it as like the work area where we are going to have the new employees or the new resources who are going to work on these new equipments to design the new variants of the tires. So for that, we need to have the the space in the work location. And then you can also see here would like to have in the future. Say you are saying so in our example, say we say like we need to have the storage location, and then would like to have, say for example, we have as we discussed, like in order to develop the new variants or in order to develop work in the new equipment, so we need a people new resources who had some experience in working on those new equipments. Say in order to go for so in order to do that, we need to go for the resource planning, or we need to increase the manpower. So we need to see recruit the new people who had some experience in working on those equipments. So before doing that, we will see like does any of the existing staff or existing working staff have the knowledge on using those new equipments. So if they had the knowledge on using those new equipments, so we don't need to hire the new people. We are going to use our existing team who are already working in our manufacturing units, and we will use them to work on the new equipments. So taking the new resources for the new equipments will be like would like to have. It is not like a mandatory one that should have. If it is not having, then we can't able to deliver the product. It is not nothing like that. So even though if you don't have the new resources, even though if you have the new resources, even though if you don't have the new resources, we can start designing the new variants of the MRF tires with the existing staff who had some knowledge on working in the new equipment. So that is how this Moscow technique is going to work, which is nothing but the must we need whenever we are talking about a certain you're going to develop a certain product or project. So you need to see what are the must-have features in the project and what are the should-have features in the project, and then what are the could like to have features in the project, and then what are the features would be like added value to the client. That is how we need to implement this Moscow technique. So, any questions till now? Among the set of business analysis techniques, we discussed on the four analysis techniques, which is most, and then the SWOT technique, and then the five whys, and the fourth one is the Moscow technique. Any questions on these techniques? Probably, I think you might be have some feeling some new thing about this particular terminology or the definition words that we have discussion discussed about them. So you just go through these slides that I will be sending after this meeting. So you will just need to understand what is the purpose of Moscow technique, the particular business analysis technique, and you see what is the Moscow comprises of. So it is a must-have. So you can see in the must-have category, what is it actually contains. So if it is not developed, then your product is going to be a failure one. So you just go through this technique, this slide, so that you will get a complete understanding of these business analysis techniques that what we have discussed. Any questions in today's session?